All right, looks like the webinar has started.
We are live. I like it.
We are
Ready to
live.
rock.
So we're gonna wait for
We can see some participants streaming in. I love it. Welcome, everyone.
cool. Welcome everybody. We'll just give people a couple minutes to come on in and
Yeah,
join on in.
exactly.
While I think everyone piles in, let's go ahead and give a little hint on where people are at. So I'm calling in from, it looks like a sunnyish day in San Francisco. I live right in downtown. I'm a big Warriors fan, so I'm like a couple blocks
Awesome.
from the stadium. How about you, Tim? Where are you located?
I am calling in from the south of France in the countryside, and it's the end of my day, but it's still a little light. So I'm
Mhm.
kind of looking at the mountains here and stuff, which is basically the opposite of where you are, I think, which is makes this fun.
I mean, you have way better food out there than I do. You know, we
We
have
have debated this. San
we did.
Francisco versus France. I think in Paris and San Francisco, there's some. Any French person would say in France it's better because they are French, right? But in the end, I guess there's rivaling stuff going on here.
To open the chat
Oh yeah,
box.
I saw that. Um,
How would I do that? Let's go to chat. I'm assuming it's in here.
yeah, and there's actually also a Q&A section.
There is a Q&A section as well, so we can kind of use that. But
Yeah, it would be nice to have like a live chat so people can actually share where they're from.
yeah, so I'm clicking on the chat window now, and it doesn't look like, I think Mike had this issue before on a previous webinar where
Yeah, it seems like for us, it's basically the hosts and us.
three
But
dots.
in the
Okay.
chat window, there's three dots. So
Mute panelists, allow panelists, play sound, raise hand, view.
hey Ismail, I see your Q&A. Thanks. Nice to join us from Morocco. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks for using Q&A, folks. I'm looking at the three dots right now that Mike has directed me to, but it doesn't seem like there's a way to have
While you do that, I'll start sharing my screen so people can have a look at what we're doing. To start off our slides here. Okay, I see some Q&A stuff coming up. So we have some people from Chicago. Oh, and it actually looks like Emily from Atlanta is saying that our chat is disabled for participants. So I think that might be in your administration panel, June.
Okay, I think I said panelists can chat with, attendees can chat with everyone. That should work now. I think I fixed it. Let me know if it.
Yep, it works. Perfect.
Okay,
Yep,
great.
we can
Sorry
see
about
it.
that. There was a little
Thank you for the
Zoom
wait.
permission issue.
You know what? This is why it's live. This is how it goes. This is the way.
Got to roll with the punches, you know.
Oh yeah, and I love that the chat is pouring in. We have all
thank you.
participants. Thanks everyone. So feel free to send in the chat where you are based, because we're going to be in Europe and in the US. But I'm thinking we have someone from Morocco, for example. We're all over the place. I love it.
We're international. This is great.
Yeah.
This is great to see. See Canada.
We have some Canada. We have some from Chicago.
Atlanta.
All right. So
how
about June? You are on the screen here on the left. Oh, we have Texas. We have Amsterdam. How about that? Oh, Elliot, I know who you are. I told your dad, so you should join this so you can win a fun keyboard.
Well, there you go. Really double click into our network here.
Yeah, we're using a network. So how about you introduce yourself, June?
Yeah. So I'm June. I'm a developer evangelist at Zeplin. I'm part of the community crew here. And I do a very similar thing to Tim, where we do one-to-many type of events, such as this, like a webinar, or we do conference talks, or we do maybe videos on demand, maybe some blog posts when it needs be, right? So that's my job, is just to talk to you folks out there and to engage with you folks, and yeah, pass it over to you, Tim.
There you go. So we actually have a similar job, but in your case, it's called evangelist. In my case, it's called advocate. There
Yeah.
are some differences, but people seem to disagree about what these differences are. So I'm going out on a limb and saying it's very similar. And
Okay.
I just do it for a company that sells software that's a little bit more technical
Mhm.
than Zeppelin, but we kind of play in the same ballpark, I guess, because with Uniform, we're building projects, and actually with Zeppelin as well, right? You're the
Mhm.
source of truth for all the design. We just build out the code that shows that design. And so I'm doing that at Uniform, and I'm based in Europe, but with Uniform, we're all over the place, basically. And so basically, we like June and I were like the liaisons between companies, internal teams, but also externally with people watching these kind of things. And so
Yeah.
we're helping to hopefully enable people to use the tools that we represent, but also love these tools and things like that. So there you go.
Definitely. And then you mentioned that, you're a little bit more complicated than Zeppelin. Can you give the people here just a 30-second to 1-minute elevator pitch of what Uniform does?
Oh, sure. But before, how about we show this just before I do that? So people get a second. So if you wanted to win that keyboard that we're building today, scan this QR code or go to this link below here if you haven't done that just yet. So then you can actually subscribe to be able to get that keyboard. I just
Yeah.
wanted to quickly put that out here. And while I talk a bit about what Uniform does,
Yeah, that's a good call out.
yeah,
So
then we just
just a
leave this
quick
up for a
note,
sec.
the I guess drawing or the submissions are going to end at 10:30, which is going to be about 23 minutes from now. I got my great
So
team
7:30 for your European folks.
7:30 for those European folks. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. So feel free to go and click on this QR code and fill out the form, and that's all you need to do. And then at around, I want to say like 10:40-ish, 10:45-ish, we'll draw the winner, right? Random on stream here.
There you go. Okay, so you know what? How about we first show kind of what we're doing? Because if I start talking about Uniform, it's a relatively new concept and it
Okay.
will take a bit of time. So
Okay.
let's
You
let's
want to
just
go?
let's just show what we're gonna build. How about that?
Sure. Yeah. Let's go. You could switch over from the slide view.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go down over here a little bit. I'm gonna bring up this camera.
Yeah, because we
Top-down
have
camera
this,
view
we
here.
did some fun stuff here. Look, we actually both have a top-down camera, so you can see us build stuff.
Yeah, so you'll be able to see me build this thing. We got these glorious keyboards here. We got some keycaps as well as some switches, some blue switches here.
Oh yeah, you went for blues. I went for red switches.
Okay, okay. Why did you go for red?
I tried them, and these linear red switches, the sound-wise, they felt good to me.
Okay.
However, I think you like the clicky stuff from the blues, right?
I mean, the blues are I think are just classic, they've been around
They're
for a long
so
time.
classic. Honestly, you have the ones that are more fancy, I guess.
I don't know about fancy. I think it's just more of a classic, It's just something like a good baseline for people to start off with. And
Exactly.
that's what I started off with when I first started building keyboards. You could kind of see mine a little bit protruding on this side here. It's the same keyboard that we're
Yeah,
building.
you can see the one I built yesterday here, which is actually using something totally different, but that's not for now.
So cool. So these are keyboards that we'll be building today. Do you want to do it? Should we go ahead and unbox these, Tim? What do you feel like doing?
How about let's just start building these, and then
Okay.
while we do that, maybe you can start to talk a little bit about what Zeppelin does and how you feel like we can work together, things like that. And by
Yeah.
the way, we have similar keyboards, right? So I have these switches that fit the uniform colors a little bit, and I think you managed to find some colors that fit Zeppelin, right?
Yeah. So we're gonna open this box here and get this keyboard out. I'm gonna put this box to the side. You'll get this fancy box as well. I'll ship it out. And in this box, as you can see, you get some
Yeah, let me just do the
pads
same
here
because we bought the same base, so you guys
in
are
base.
everybody's gonna get like
Uh,
that super nice
Puller,
GMMK
some extra
Pro.
screws here.
Oh,
As
I'm gonna
well.
have to like even open this up because
got
it's still
this,
glued together. We just received all this.
USB-C cable. So that's what's included in the box. I'm gonna just go ahead and put this to the side. And here is the keyboard. So we got a little bit special with the top frame. We got this.
Oh yeah, you actually got like the gold Zeppelin stuff.
Yeah,
I
Zeppelin
like that, man.
yellow
That's cool.
keyboard, right? So it's pretty nice. That's what it looks like. I don't think the camera would do it justice. I have a cheap webcam here, but kind of shows you what the keyboard's gonna look like. All these empty spaces here. This is where we're gonna put all the switches. And on top of the switches is where we're gonna put the keycaps. But it's a
Oh,
pretty
I'm a little behind. I'll get there. Wait. Look at so I actually opted for the white-ish aluminum style.
nice.
And you have the extra cap on top to make it gold and closer to Zeppelin, and this is closer to Uniform. But as you can see, it's the same base.
Same
and it has
base.
the knob, which is super cool. It's programmable with QMK and VIA.
Yep.
Let's not go too deep on that because we can talk for 15 hours on that part.
I mean, the cool thing, my favorite thing about this keyboard is that it's all metal. So like this is it's all metal
Really
here.
fun. Yeah.
This is all metal here. So it's like a pretty heavy keyboard. Like I'm not that strong of a guy, but even still, I don't know if Tim, you're a lot stronger than I am, but would you agree that it's a pretty substantial, hefty keyboard?
Let's call me heavier. How about that?
I say stronger. Stronger is the key.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Stronger is the key word, but I think you would also agree that it's a pretty there's no plastic parts. It's all made out of metal, and yeah, it's a pretty solid keyboard.
Quick one, June. They're asking actually where you bought that Dancing Mario. I'd love that one as well, to be honest.
This thing right here.
So cool.
This thing is just a panel, like a Devoom panel, and you could just put any image that you want on there. I like Mario, and I thought it would just be fun to have in the background, you know. So like when I'm talking, kind of see in the background a little bit.
I'm gonna need that. It's better than my screensaver over there. I'm seeing my buddy Chris in the chat, who's actually he's saying he's Canada based, but he's in Mexico. But I know for a fact he's from the UK. There you go. This guy's all over the place.
Man. Rami's asking, it's heavy, so it doesn't move when you game on it. There you go.
Oh, not at all. It's great. This is like super solid.
Pretty solid.
And actually, I have a little confession. I actually, when we ordered this one, I saw how nice it was. I ordered it for myself as well. So this is actually my daily driver also. So I started with the switches. So as you can see, these are red Cherry MX, but they're from Gatoron and they're silent. Oh, it's focusing on my face, but there you go. So I think it's time we're going to start quickly putting these in because the time is flying.
Yep. These are the blue switches I got. So let's go ahead and start putting these stuff in. And then we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about what Zeppelin and Uniform does. But really quickly, if you've never done this before, I don't know if my camera will pick it up. I don't think it can, but there's like 3 pins here. You definitely can't see it. So there's like 2 copper pins.
Yeah,
like
maybe I can share it on this one here.
You probably have a better camera than I do. Yeah, there you
can
go.
see. You see, so there's these 2 pins.
Yep.
And they go inside these sockets. And these ones, they call these hot swappable, so you don't actually have to solder them. It's really easy.
So you just have to push that in, like right there, and then now it's good to go. So
Skip, I saw your comment. We'll post what we're building with. So maybe we can quickly outline what we're using. So I'm using this GMMK Pro with aluminum face, and I'm using Gatoron silent red switches. And I have the GPBT caps and their cherry format.
Cool. I have the same similar thing. Same aluminum body, same aluminum frame, just with the yellow Zeppelin color on it. Gatoron blue switches here, and I'm going with the Aura mechanical keycaps. So these are light passing keycaps. So I'm excited to
fancy
and show it to you folks. But yeah, those are the supplies we are using today. I'm more than happy to send you folks a list of the things that we're building with.
I love Jamie's comment saying we actually should learn to loop and film our switches, but then we would have a 3-hour stream.
That takes a little bit.
We were considering doing it, to be fair, but it's just too much time.
Yeah. So cool. So we'll just go ahead and do this kind of monotonous work here. And while we're doing that, let's go ahead and talk about what Uniform and Zeppelin does. Don't mind the clicky sounds while we kind of push this in. But for those of you who don't know what Zeppelin is all about, we're a tool that helps the whole product team, including designers and developers, work together seamlessly and ship beautiful products together faster. And I've been working here for the past 3 years now, so I've seen a lot of teams. I've spoken to a lot of teams about how they use Zeppelin. And one of the cool things that came out recently was talked to Washington Post when they were at our conference called Harmony last year, or earlier this year, I'm sorry. And they're talking about design systems. And Tim, we all know design systems are a hot topic, right?
Oh yeah.
I think with design systems, we all know it's like something we should do, something we have to do. It's kind of like what DevOps was like, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, right? When
Mhm.
it first came around, it was like pretty new and no one really knew about it. And now everyone knows about it. Everybody has a DevOps thing. And I think that's the same with design systems. But my friends at Washington Post, design systems could live in a lot of different places, right? Like they could be in like a design tool like Figma. It could be in something more code centric, maybe like a storybook, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
and when I was talking to my friends at Washington Post, they were like, hey, we need to get this design system going, but they're in different places, different teams, or designers are more Figma focused. It's hard
Yeah.
for developers to kind of go in there and put in, connect their code to it and call the documentation to it. So they use something like Storybook. And what I heard from the team at Washington Post was like, they're like, hey, we use Zeppelin to make this kind of like a safe place for everybody, and you can put your design system in Zeppelin as well. But it's like a great place where, designers, developers, PMs, and the whole slew of the product team can come together and actually,
You know what? That's probably the best thing about it. Like even the other day, I had a meeting where one of our designers was showing off what we're going to build for our product, right? In Figma. And then he's like, hey, something has changed. Why does this thing like is now in this different place? I didn't design it that way. Turns out the developer just did a drag and drop by accident and destroyed his design. And so you just need Zeppelin because it shows you the source of truth and it's versioned and it's just the thing that you intended to design. That's what you get. And that's so cool about Zeppelin.
Yeah, and you
Sorry,
bring
I just did your product pitch, but there you go.
I mean, you bring a good point up for the whole versioning thing, right? I think the versioning thing within Zeppelin's a little bit different, very different than the versioning in Figma, where Figma you have the whole project, whereas Zeppelin you save the version per screen. So like as a developer, you could really or even design, you could be very granular with what has changed per screen, and it's a lot easier to track and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, that's what my friends at Washington Post were saying as well. Like, hey, like it's a single source of truth for not just for designers, not just for developers, not just for QA, but it's for the whole product team. And I think one of those ways is that there's not that much training required. I mean, you used Zeppelin before, Tim. I think it's pretty
many times.
get up and running, even if you had literally no experience doing it, right? We like kind of pride ourselves in kind of the Apple way where you don't need long documentation or direction. You can just go in and play around. Everything's locked. You can't really mess things up. But yeah, that's what my friends at Washington Post were saying about design system or adopted widely was using a platform or discipline agnostic tool for them to all come together, collaborate, get feedback, get what they need. And I think that's what a good design system is, right? A good design system is when the whole team uses it, not just one group, right?
Yeah, that's where it becomes strong. And you still see a lot of companies say, hey, we have a design system, but in the end, they just have kind of right. Oh, you're back. Your camera was hanging for a sec.
Oh,
or it might have been my I don't know. Sorry.
It's
my internet.
Internet glitches. You're calling from Paris. I'm from San Francisco.
Yeah, we're from all over the place. The fact that it's possible,
but
we're literally building a keyboard together from opposite sides of the world. It's crazy.
But it looks like we're still on, so I think we're still good to go.
Yeah, we're still fine.
Let's see. Chris has a question. This keeps going to be OS X compatible. I run a 10 keyless switch binding between Windows and OS X. I think this is more for PC.
Yeah, knowing Glorious Gaming, because I bought one and I run a Mac. So I checked it out and it's not officially supported for Mac. And their proprietary software to do stuff with, rather like to rebind keys and things like that, is actually a Windows app. But if you install the right firmware, you can use VIA and QMK to remap anything you want, and then it just works fine.
Yep, exactly. So these are completely remappable. So as Tim says, you can use those different types of program to remap it to Mac standards.
Exactly. And you know what I in the end did? I did nothing to it, no VIA, nothing. I just went into my OS X settings and I said, make Alt the command key and make command key Alt. And then suddenly it works in Mac because I don't use the function keys at all. I tend to use this guy for my volume and stuff. And that works automatically because that's native between Microsoft and Apple, which is cool.
I think also the mute button works too across
Yeah,
Mac
it does.
and Apple.
It
So
does.
with this knob, not only can you turn it, but you can also like push it, if you could hear that. And then you can mute your tracks or whatever you're listening. Or as Tim mentioned, you could remap it to whatever function that you want.
Yeah, I actually have one other keyboard that also has a wheel, and I tend to use that while live streaming or recording because I made it to zoom in my code editor, for example. Right? I always need to zoom in because I'm sharing my screen. And then I literally just turn the knob, zooms in, press the knob, zooms back to 0. It's really handy.
Also, I don't know how you're putting the switches faster than me, but I'm telling you, you're stronger.
Well, the thing is, I'm relatively novice at doing this. So before the stream, I just wanted to practice a lot.
Yeah.
And so I made like a few keyboards before doing the stream. So I kind of know how to put these in because you know what? The first time I put in switches, like you can see those two, I'm not sure if you can see it. There's these little feet on them, right?
Yep.
And the first 5 I put in, I just mangled the feet because I had no idea how strong I had to be and how to move it and stuff.
Yep.
And so I've screwed up my fair share of switches before the stream, so it would work right now.
I mean, I have two, because like I didn't know there was like a way to put it in, with these 3 prongs. I'm like, oh, I just put it in, right? But
Yeah, exactly. No, it's a little bit more.
and a process to this madness. But while we're almost kind of getting to the finish line with the switches, Tim, so the long-awaited elevator pitch on Uniform.
Oh, yes,
Let's
exactly.
switch
And you
over
know
to
what's
Uniform
funny?
for a little bit,
The
what's
pitch
the
for Uniform is
Yeah.
not that elevatory. It's actually because it's such a new thing that we're working on that I need to explain a little bit more before you get it. But the essence of what we do is if you have, if you're going to build a new website, and that website is more of a platform, right? So you have e-commerce, you have CMS stuff, you have asset management, like images that have to be served from places, you have personalization. This person is based in France and they bought this thing. Let's show something else. All that stuff is a pretty big digital experience that you're building. So it's not just, hey, I have a little front end. Let me connect to a CMS and I'm off. The moment you scale it up, things become complicated. And nowadays, everybody uses these things they call headless, right? So you have a CMS that is just an entity in a cloud somewhere. And when you talk to it, you get code back. It's JSON stuff or GraphQL stuff. And if you then talk to your e-commerce system, that's the same. If you talk to your DAM system, that's the same. So what has happened over the years now that we have these headless systems, all these systems are smaller in scope, do what they do really well, but they don't give you like an interface like Zeplin does. There's no screens. And so what happened over the years now is that people are connecting all these systems up with code. That's all good and well. All the developers are super happy because they get to choose exactly what they want to build the best website. However, if you are now a content editor and you have to make a page, let's say that page has 5 products from a certain category. It has legal data from CMS A and it has campaign data from CMS B, and you have CRM data from another system to look at what this person is doing on the website as a visitor. Now, suddenly, if you want to make that page, you have to call developers because how the heck would you do that? And on top of that, you have to have knowledge of all these systems to be able to actually pull that off, but you can never see it together in one place. And so that's where Uniform comes in. We came up with something together with Gartner, which is an analyst firm that looks at trends in our space. And they came up with something we call DXC, Digital Experience Composition. And that is literally what Uniform does. It pulls information from all these systems that don't have interfaces. It gets all that information, and then a content editor, without understanding these systems, can just drag and drop a page together, and then hit save and preview that page across all these systems.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't exist. And so that's why I had to give you all these words to get you there. But what that means is, if you choose one of these CMSs or e-commerce systems or whatever, and you feel like in a year you have outgrown it, if you have used Uniform, it's 5 clicks and you select a new one, and the data that comes out, you can map it slightly in a simple way, and suddenly you have changed your system. Or if you now for Christmas want to add a wish list, well, then you don't have to buy a wish list for all year. You just buy it for Christmas, add it to Uniform, done. And so you're extremely flexible. And that allows you to just make things in such a simple way that you haven't seen before, other than what we had back in the day where systems were super big. So all the tools were together, and that's no longer true. And I could go all on about how technically awesome it is, but maybe this is not the place for that. However, it is.
I
right?
mean, I've
It's
been seeing
very
a lot
cool.
of stuff with like headless stuff, you know, like headless CMS
Yes.
systems,
But
headless
if you-
components, right?
But if you don't compose them together in a nice way,
Yeah.
then basically it's messy. We
There needs
call
to
it
be orchestration,
interconnecting,
right?
right? You cannot divide anymore what you put together, because imagine you have your design system with Storybook flowing in, and you have to make some form of integration to be able to see what you're doing. If you have 16 systems, are you going to integrate into 16 systems? That's a little crazy.
It
Why
is a
don't
little
you just
crazy.
integrate it in one that knows what to do with it, and it doesn't actually interfere with each other at all? All these things are very loosely connected. And so David is saying it the right way. We are now at the 40th floor of this elevator pitch. That's so true, dude.
Elevator pitch is like 1 minute, 30 seconds to 1 minute, right?
We have
So,
a competition going on at work where we say, okay, your non-technical neighbor asks you what Uniform is. How would you say it in 2 sentences? And we're still not there. But that's because we're in a new category. It doesn't exist.
I mean,
Right? How did you want to explain Uber when they just started? Right? There's all this extra little thing. So yeah, there you go. We have a few customers that came out now with Uniform that like changed their time to market in like, I don't know, from months and months to like weeks. And we have agencies saying, okay, we're going to use Uniform because these integrations work so well that we literally just we gain like 100 hours easily if we just install Uniform and make Uniform connected and not connected in the code. Because Uniform allows you to query all these systems or ask them questions without having all these complicated integrations. Uniform does that for you.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of anything being headless, right? Not like the headless CMS system, a headless component system. That's I've been seeing a lot with React projects, right? We don't have any stylized stuff where it could be easily reusable. And I think that's the next generation.
It's all about being reusable. That's the whole new thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that should be at the forefront now.
There's this interesting thing. Oh, sorry, go on.
Just a quick heads up. I'm going to be the time police here. We have about a couple minutes left, Tim. So I'm already starting my keycaps. So I'm going to put on
I'm about to start now.
So we have 2 minutes. So just people in chat, just to give you folks a heads up. If anyone hasn't entered in the giveaway yet and you want to win this awesome keyboard.
Shall I share my screen again just to be safe so people actually have that QR code?
Sure, yeah, let's do it for people.
Yeah, let me just quickly share my screen so people can actually make sure. Here it is. Well, that's not it, is it? That's my email.
I see a black screen right now. I don't see anything on screen.
It tells me my screen sharing is paused. How about that? That's very interesting. Try it again. No. I'll put the link in the chat.
Okay, yeah, put the link in the chat.
That should work.
Okay, so we'll give folks a couple minutes and then we'll switch over here and then we'll draw the names. And if we have time, we can finish putting the keycaps back on, but just want to be respectful for everybody's time that just joined us or has joined us since the beginning. So it's 10:30 right now. We'll give everyone 1 more minute and then we'll just switch over to the wheel and then we'll announce the winners.
I finally found it. So if people want to, oh, I send it only to the host, I think. Wait, let me see if I can also send that to everyone. Here we go. All right, so people in the chat, see the link I just posted. So if you haven't actually subscribed in that Google form and filled out where you live and all the things, go there now. So then we have a little bit of time in the back end for our colleagues to actually figure out your names. So we can then put these in our, random name choosing wheel that we have on the internet. And then we're just continuing now putting these switches on. I hope we're finished in time. I think so. This could go pretty fast.
I think we're almost there.
I'm actually quite happy that I found a color scheme that is really close to the uniform colors.
It's awesome.
You can actually see them here and then see the logo on my hat. It's relatively close.
Relatively close. Okay, so we have 1 more minute. It's 10:31. Let's go ahead and I could switch over. I'm gonna just put this window down a little bit for the building thing. I'm gonna go open up my Slack here really quick and try to get the names so we are on time.
Ooh, that's interesting. In this keyboard, where's the scroll lock go? I don't think it's used, right?
Say that one more time.
Scroll lock and pause and all that, because it's basically like
You go on the right hand side.
Oh yeah, but those are like end page, down page, up, and delete, I think.
You can always remap these too.
Oh yeah, exactly. You can do whatever you want. Like when you get this keyboard, we'll send you all the keys. Like, because there's lots of leftover. You're just gonna get those. So you can actually try them out, do other things, use them in other keyboards, everything you want.
Okay, so I got my wheel ready to go, and Josh did an amazing job to tabulate everything. So thank you, Josh, for doing that.
Let me see if I can get my. Ooh, we have lots of European names. I love it.
Let me get my wheel here. 1 second.
Copy. Okay. Let's go to the wheel. Wow, my wheel is like oversaturated. I love it.
Do you want to go ahead and go first then? Because you have
of course. Well, yeah, sure. Let's do it. So can everybody see the wheel? So this random is so random that we trust the code of the wheel of names. That's how random it is.
Well, if you go on the bottom, Tim, if you scroll to the bottom of this thing, this table, it will show you like
how it's calculated and stuff.
How random it is and how to use it. So pretty cool.
That is awesome. Yeah, that's fun. Okay, so it's renewable. Does it use renewable energy? Okay, so how do I actually spin it properly? Click to spin or press Control Enter. So I just go for it?
I think you should just go for it. Yeah.
Click. Okay. The wheel is spinning. Here we go. Okay, who's gonna win? Who is gonna win? It's gonna be Mick Homan.
Mick, are you in chat?
Oh, let's see if he's in the chat. Let me open the chat for a second. So, Mick, are you in the chat? Let me just type that name in the chat so everybody knows. Oh, Stefan, you were so close. I'm sorry you didn't win. You were really close. I was about to say your name and then it moved to the next. So if you haven't seen your name, that's interesting because we actually just took everything from the EU participants right now.
So to be clear, this is only for the EU. I'm going to be doing the ones from the US.
Yeah, no worries here because we have to do this. Otherwise, I'm going to have to send this to the US. Yeah. And I'm going to pay more for the sending than for the keyboard itself.
Yep.
So there you go. So people, don't worry.
Only for the people in the EU. Tim's going to send this out from the EU. I'm going to be drawing the people from the US right now, right after Tim.
Okay. So I'm going to find Mick's information. I hope he's in the chat because he took the time to actually fill this out.
Yeah. Let me pull up my wheel really quick. 1 second. Okay, here we go. Let me share my screen. All right, so this is my wheel here. Here are the
Go.
names. There's a couple
Oh.
repeat names, so I'm gonna take care of that really quickly.
Oh yeah, just to be safe. Otherwise, there's people with more.
I just want to make sure, double check here. It looks like there's two Adam Jones here, so I'm gonna get rid of that one because there's another Adam Jones down here. And blah blah. Okay, so this looks good. I don't see any repeats on here. Everything seems pretty unique in my opinion. If I'm missing it, let me know.
Yeah, my list was like super clean.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and spin it. Let's go. Let's go ahead and do it. The winner for my wheel will be.
There it goes.
Is it Alina? Alina, are you in chat here?
Oh, there she is. Oh no, that's another Alina. And we have an Alina Bodhi and we have an Alina Suzette.
That's Attila. That's not Alina.
Oh, I just read that wrong.
Yep.
I'm sorry about that.
So Alina, if you're here, let me know. I don't think Alina's in here. We're gonna get somebody.
Oh yeah, we'll just continue because we want to give this keyboard away like properly.
Philip.
Like we have.
Philip Thomas. Are you in chat?
Yes.
He's
Philip
here.
should be here. Yeah, I just.
I think I saw Philip too.
Yeah, he's here for sure.
Cool. Well, Philip Thomas, I see you too in chat.
There he is. We found him in the chat. Yeah,
I
we found the
will-
winner.
I will stop sharing now and pass it over to
Okay.
Tim.
So the rule of elimination is coming back.
Yes, I'm glad we
So-
found someone finally. While you're doing that, I'm going to finish up my keyboard here, so hopefully we can kind of show it off at the end.
Yeah, because I'm gonna have to remove Mick now. All right. Let's spin.
Or from the EU.
Yeah, honestly, if you're from the EU, like, okay, Nikolai, let's try.
Is that another?
Yes, Nikolai seems to be here.
Nikolai, yes.
There is a Nikolai. Reveal yourself in the chat if you're here, Nikolai.
Nikulin, yes, in the EU. That is you.
Yes.
Great.
Nice, we did it.
We did it.